see if they can send someone.
Here, do you want that?
Okay, so I'll just mention that we've made a minor revision to the subtitle. Okay, sure.
I have something that is really called whoever you are.
All right.
How are you?
Light tonight. Charles got a lot of this.
Here's Mr. Benacki, you can start.
Good evening. We're going to start the April 18th Ocoee regular city commission meeting. Invocation to be by Commissioner Keller, Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Wilson, and then we'll have roll call. Please stand.
Heavenly Father, as we gather tonight, as always, we ask your blessing on our meeting. Give us the wisdom to make the good decisions for our city. We ask a blessing on our city as we go through our daily lives, keep everyone well and safe. As we ask a special blessing on our first responders, Lord, those people who every day put their lives on the line keeping us safe. Please keep them safe as they do their job for us. We ask a blessing on our military, wherever they are in the world. Keep them safe and bring them home to us. We ask all of this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Commissioner Grogan,
Here.
Commissioner Wilson,
Present.
Mayor Johnson,
Here.
Commissioner Firstner,
Here.
Commissioner Keller.
Here.
All right, next is supposed to be presentations and proclamations. We have none, so we'll jump to comments from citizens or the public. If anybody in this public, they're here, citizens, has any comment, it's not on the agenda, now's the time. Looks like we have nobody, so we'll go down to staff reports.
Just one item, Mayor. We have a replacement Exhibit A in front of you for number 9, the first reading of the Parks and Recreation Hours Ordinance this evening.
All right. Commissioner's announcement, Commissioner Grogan,
I have nothing at this time, thank you.
Commissioner Wilson.
Just like to make an announcement that, as we're early in the meeting, just remember that we have a burn ban that Mayor Teresa Jacobs has put forth within the unincorporated and incorporated areas of Orange County. So please, we're in a drought, so we ask you to please be cautious. Thank you.
Commissioner Firstner.
None at this time.
Commissioner Keller.
Just wanted to say a great job to Parks and Recreation, everybody else who was involved in the Easter egg hunt this past weekend. Really good job, really good turnout. 15,000 eggs for the kids to catch. So that was quite a bit. So really good job. That's all, Mayor.
Yeah, Commissioner Keller and I were up there. We had a hard time cooking all those eggs. Nope. I thought they filled all those eggs with candy during the day, but they didn't. They said they bought them. I was surprised because that's a lot of egg filling, folks. But they had a lot of people up there. And it's amazing. They run the first age group, the baby group through. So I thought they just let them how they picked the eggs, but they didn't. They cleaned that thing in less than 2 minutes. Next 5,000 eggs out there, and they cleaned it in less than 2 minutes again. So they did a wonderful job, the staff did. It was great.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to read off some announcements here. The Code Enforcement Board currently has 3 vacancies, 1 regular member position and 2 alternate member positions. The board is hoping to get at least 1 applicant from District 3 as there is currently no representation from that district. If interested in being appointed to the Code Enforcement Board, please go to the city's website to download the application for submittal. The Charter Review Commission meets the third Wednesday of every month at 6:30 p.m. here in City Hall. The next scheduled meeting is tomorrow, April the 19th. Please note, the board has changed the start time for all future meetings from 7 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Food truck and move in the park is this Friday, April the 21st, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. This month's movie is Big Friendly Giant, which starts at 7:30 p.m. The District and Commission meeting is currently underway and scheduled to meet Monday, April the 24th at 6:30 p.m. here in City Hall. Invitations for City's annual Volunteer Appreciation Dinner were sent out by email. This is an event hosted by the city to thank all those residents who serve our community by volunteering on our city boards. I look forward to honoring all our volunteers on Thursday, April the 27th, from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. at the Ocoee Lakeshore Center. If you are on a city board and did not RSVP, please be sure to contact Joy Wright at jwright@ocoee.org. All right, thank you. All right, consent agenda.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Motion made by Commissioner Keller, seconded by Commissioner Wilson. Any discussion? If not, let's vote. Carries unanimously. All right, public hearing, none. We're going to go to the first reading ordinance, number 9. I don't think, our Parks and Recreation Director is not here tonight, I don't think, so are you reading that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
The city attorney will read the ordinance.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As the city manager noted, there's been a slight revision to the text of the document that's the ordinance. This is first reading, so we will just read the title at this point, but we did change the subtitle to delete the reference to outdoor recreational facilities, as the revisions will apply to indoor facilities as well as outdoor facilities. I will now read the title. An ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, amending Section 1246 of the City of Ocoee Code of Ordinances, revising park hours, allowing city manager or designee to expand or contract park hours for good cause shown, providing for severability, providing for codification, providing for an effective date.
All right, this is just the first reading. What we'll have the next second reading will be, and public hearing will be scheduled for May the 2nd, 2017. Regular meeting at 7 p.m. All right.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes,
If you
ma'am.
mind at this point? When we refer to Tiger Minor Park, are we referring also to the basketball court that's in Tiger? Yes, okay, just want to make sure, because this week I did get some comments regarding the basketball court. The lights are going on later, people are playing there later. And I think we all probably got the email from a resident regarding Hackney Prairie Park.
Yes.
So, again, being very cognizant of how this is all affecting neighbors when they're so close. They live in such close to our neighborhood parks.
I sent an email back to that gentleman.
Yeah, I did as well.
Yeah, I sent something too, but it's just a point that, again, these folks live right behind
Yeah.
these parks and are very close to them.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go to item I, second reading of ordinance, public hearing. Second reading of ordinance regulating human signs.
Thank you, Mayor. This item will be continued this evening due to the fact that we've revised the ordinance to allow for enforcement through Chapter 16 of the code. So I will read the revised title that has been advertised. An ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, amending Section 8-6 of the City of Ocoee Land Development Code, defining and regulating human signs, amending Section 153-4 of the City of Ocoee Code of Ordinances, and creating a new Section 15341 of the City of Ocoee Code of Ordinances, prohibiting human signs for purposes of right-of-way utilization, providing for enforcement, providing for penalties, providing for severability, providing for codification, providing an effective date.
Still open the public hearing. We'll open the public hearing. Ask for any comments? No comments? We'll close the public hearing, and we'll continue it on
Till May the 2nd.
May the 2nd. All right. Item J, discussion regarding the state lobbying services contract with Gray Robinson, PA.
Mayor, very briefly, I can address
I was
this.
looking for you.
Yeah. We need to transfer some money, and the identified pot of money would be the contingency, the commission's contingency account. I think when we go back to the workshops for the budget this fiscal year, we weren't quite sure how long we were going to keep Gray Robinson on month to month, and we weren't quite sure what we were going to do with our federal lobbyists, so we tried to guess at what that number would be for lobbying services, federal and state, and we find ourselves right now at the point where if we're going to continue on as we have with the federal and the state lobbyists, we need to move a minimum of around $11,000 into that account, and probably we'll have to come back at some point to square up that account for the rest of the year.
What I can't make a motion, but what I would suggest and like to get a consensus, or we come up with a motion, is we cancel this, give them the 30-day notice and cancel it and do this part we had, the 11,000 or whatever it is, and then cancel that contract.
And that, the $11,542 figure there was the least amount of money we'd have to transfer.
Right,
Because
yeah.
we'd have to pay them through April, we'd have to give them the
Yes,
30-day
right.
notice, and it would include expenses and their monthly fee for the month of
Right.
May also.
So,
Well, I'll speak then too. Since I can make a motion, I think until we go back to the budget again, I think to end this year's fiscal year, that we should terminate the contract, let it run out, have their month, pay them up to date, give them a month's notice, and then come revisit this back in October when we're ready to do the budget again. That would be I think that would be
that's your motion.
the best thing to do, and I'll make a motion to do that, yeah. If
Anybody
there's
else?
anybody else want to discuss it?
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All right.
And I'll just quickly on the discussion, the session ends at the end of April, and
Right.
the governor has the first 10 business days, I guess it is, of May to make his vetoes, if any. So basically, this goes through the end of May, if I understand correctly. So we're going to have coverage through the end of session, which would be about the only thing that I would concern about. And then after that, I agree that we probably need to look, if we're doing this month to month, we need to look at what we want to do going forward, especially since after May, there's really not a lot that could get done until the next year, so.
Anybody else? All right. Motion made by Commissioner Grogan, seconded by Commissioner Ferstner. No more comments, let's vote. Motion carries to cancel the contract, Rob, at the end of May.
Mayor, can I ask something at this point?
Yeah.
It has something to do with this, well, not really, but it's on the same topic. We have a federal lobbyist, and I need to ask Rob, sorry, Mr. Frank, if we have received anything, because I believe that we're supposed to get notice every 30 days. I think, am I correct according to the contract about what's going on? And, I mean, I know that feel very strongly about our Rose Hill situation, along with other neighborhoods that want the Ocoee City zip code. But we're spending our residents' money, and I haven't seen any information come back from this lobbyist. So I'm either asking that, have you gotten any information? I'll stop in a second. Have you gotten any information, or can we ask, and I don't know if it's ability to be here, but I think we need some presentation from this lobbyist regarding what's going on. Because it's $2,000 to $3,000
Yeah,
a month.
we can certainly ask Mr. Bracey to come in and let us know what he's been doing on behalf of the city. I don't know if the contract specifically said every 30 days or so. What we had been doing in the past was whenever there was something significant, sometimes every week, sometimes, 5 or 6 weeks would go by. Back in January, when we extended the contract out till August, I've not had any significant contact with him since then.
Is there a 30-day clause on that contract also?
I believe it's 30 days also, yes.
I'm requesting, and I guess this is the appropriate time, requesting for the next agenda, if you could reach out to see if that's going to be a possibility. If not the next agenda, we may have to extend to the one after that.
And the request is to have him come in and update
Ask
us
him
on
to
his
come in.
activities, sure.
I think we need some information regarding what's going on.
And
Yes.
if I may add on
Do
to
we
that.
know when that contract's up?
Well,
August?
Yeah, it's August.
yeah,
I
well,
think we-
the contract was originally for 12 months, and I think if you had 4 or 5 different people look at it, you'd get 4 or 5 different ideas of when it actually started. So we brought it up a couple of different times to try to figure out how we were going to proceed with the contract, because there were certain milestones that he didn't make. And we specifically brought it up in January to see how long the commission wanted to continue on until certain things happened or didn't happen. And I looked at the minutes just on last Friday, and you did authorize him to continue until August of this year.
We did, if I remember correctly.
Pending, I mean, you still have the 30-day notice, but what you had authorized would be a continuation of the contract where I wouldn't have to keep coming back and saying, what do you intend to do? Because we all know there were certain milestones that we were told would happen that didn't happen. And because of the zip code issue in January,
It
we
did
had
make it
just...
to a bill, correct?
That is correct,
But
yes.
it didn't fly.
Right.
It made it to a bill that failed in the Senate last time. This time, it's in a House bill and in a Senate bill, which basically haven't moved yet. One of the things that I do is I have those bills set up on alert, so anytime anything happens on those bills and a few other bills that for my day job, and so anytime anything happens on any of the bills, I get an alert on it. There hasn't really been anything, which doesn't surprise me considering it's in the postal reform bill. So that's probably going to be towards the end of the year before we see anything. The other thing that I was going to ask, though, if we're getting Mr. Bracy, we might also want to get, I don't remember his name right off the top, but I want to say, I think it's like Barnstorm or something like that, and I think we probably should have him come in as well, as I know he goes back and forth between Florida and Washington. It might be worth having him come in.
That's not who we contracted.
No, we didn't contract with him.
The guy that we're contracted
Well,
with. to bring
well,
that.
yeah, I agree we need the person that we're contracted, but I think we also need the person who's on the ground doing the work for us, too.
But commissioners don't know who you're talking about.
I don't know who you're talking about.
That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
He's the guy we're contracted with, Joel.
Yeah, but if the other person can give you more
Yeah.
information,
I don't have a problem with that, but everybody needs to understand who that is.
Yeah.
I don't even know, Rob, you know who it is? See, Rob don't know who it is.
basically, we've contracted with Mr. Bracy. Mr. Bracy has subcontracted or what have you with a organization, with a lobbying organization up in Washington, okay?
What's the name of that company now?
I off the top of my head,
Well,
I don't know.
it's a different company than he originally proposed.
Yeah,
though,
it's a
so
di- it's a
it's
different
not
company than
that
originally proposed, so
acronyms,
there's
law firm.
so there's a whole bunch of things in there. But while I would still like to have Mr. Bracy here to talk about it, I think that inviting this other gentleman as well would probably be able to give us better answers.
Is that going to cost us money? Because this is not someone we contracted with, and I hate to add more money to it.
If he's in DC and we request him to be here, we'd probably have to pay for the
I
flight.
was going to say,
and incidentals.
what we can, my understanding is this gentleman travels, he actually lives in Winter Park. So I think what we should be able to do is set something up so that while he's here on his next visit, he comes and sees us.
Well, I think if we can
I-
Rob will investigate.
I would still rather have.
Oh, I'd rather have, I
Let's
would
go
like both.
through The guy we're contracted with.
Yeah.
If that guy's working for him, then he needs to bring him.
Yeah,
So you can notify me that at the same time.
Yeah.
Because I've never met him, never heard of him.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. But I think we should at least, and even if we tell Mr. Bracy, yeah, bring him with you.
because
But,
Gracie's got to pay.
yeah. But I think that would probably also be someone who can give us at least a little bit better information, I think.
See, we have no money left in contingency.
Well, no, I don't, yeah, I tend to agree that we shouldn't pay for it. That's,
Which brings up my next point on number 11. You all took action on the 30-day cancellation notice, and that's fine. That gives us direction. Could someone do a motion to actually transfer the $11,000? No, it was just the cancellation.
Okay.
motion to move the funds from contingency to,
Oh,
pay,
that's for the 11,000?
yeah, for the,
Yeah, there are two different issues. You handled the
All right.
one as to what to do with the
Motion
contract.
made by Commissioner Keller to move the money for the contract for.
I'll second.
Rating officer.
from contingency.
You second it, John?
Yeah.
Seconded by Commissioner Grogan. No more comments, let's vote.
I thought we did that.
Motion carries unanimously. Also, do we
Thank
need a
you.
motion on this other, or just a consensus to send rep?
I don't think I mean, a consensus is fine. You gave him clear direction to come and report to me in January, and that's not happened.
Ms. Lawyer says consensus is fine.
Yeah, that's,
Okay, everybody good with that?
thank you.
I'm good.
The lawyer says so.
That's right.
So what number are we now that I'm sorry, I
Staff
lost
items.
myself? Are
We're
we-
down to staff action.
I have nothing further, Mayor.
Comments from commissioners. Commissioner Keller,
No additional, thank you.
Commissioner first.
Question to Rob. Have you heard anything back from Orange County on those Robeson lights?
Yes, actually, last Thursday or Friday, Commissioner Vanderlei's office reached out, and they just wanted to have a summary of what they would be expected to pay. So I made it very clear to them what the limits of the project that they would be responsible for. I did talk to Mr. Krug, Public Works Director, and the preferred way we would like to handle it is under one project with the power company, but have two separate agreements, so the county's responsible for the electric on their portion and our portion. And I think Commissioner Vanderlei's office is fine with that.
Good. That
So
being
that, I
said,
responded back, I believe it was Thursday.
okay, that being said, is there any reason why we, the city, can't start on our portion of
Well,
the project
I was
now?
thinking about that, and that's why I contacted Steve Krug. If we were doing it all as one project, we probably could start, but because we want to do it as two, we don't want to get stuck with their power bill forever, or do it as, one project and then try to figure out at some point in the future which lights they have to pay for and which we have to pay for. I don't know, Steve, if you think that that's something that wouldn't confuse the power company too much.
It shouldn't be a problem because it's going to be two separate agreements, but we'll have an agreement with Duke Energy to install the portion we're willing to pay for, and the county's going to have to sign the other one unless
Right.
they're going
Right.
to reimburse us.
The only pitfall I could see is if the commissioner's all for the project and she has to bring it forward, I don't know if she has to present that to the county commission, but if for some reason it doesn't get approved, is the city willing to pay for the whole project?
Where's their portion, from Belmere west?
Theirs is from Westmere Parkway to the west, to the
Okay.
end of
And-
the subdivision. It
and
And
doesn't
actually,
go all the way to Toma.
Commissioner, it's less than $10,000, and I don't think it's going to be an issue with the county, but I just wanted to toss that out there. We don't know that it'll be approved.
Okay,
I think there's a
it's-
99% chance that it would be.
Yeah, for such a simple project, it's just dragged on, and it wasn't our fault because we had the funding and we had the plans and everything, so I'd just like to see us start that project so we can
I
show
think-
the citizens, we are moving ahead on it.
I'll reach out at the end of this week if I don't hear back from them again.
Okay? Thank you. The only other thing that I have is to remind everyone that the fire department is having an open house on Saturday, the 29th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Fire Station 25. Please stop by. Free food and drinks and lots of handouts for the children and the adults as well. Thank you.
Where's 25 at, Rupert?
Bluford Avenue.
Number one.
Yes.
I got the impression of last week.
Well, you must have been alone if you went. Did they treat you well?
Rupert didn't know what was going on. At least today, what day is it?
Saturday.
Saturday,
Saturday.
the 29th,
What's the hours?
10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Did they treat
We'll be
you well?
looking for you.
Mr. Benacki, that's not this Saturday, that's next Saturday, not this Saturday coming up.
April the 29th,
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Whole story. Thank you. Next week from Saturday.
Yep.
Gotcha.
That's it.
We should give Mr. Menacke a new calendar.
Yeah. Commissioner Wilson.
One thing I would like, Rob, have you heard any more on the Montgomery Avenue Park, that FERDAP grant that they presented a nice check?
No, I know we reached out to them, it was probably 4 weeks ago or so, and, you know, they told us when we get the checks, we will give you the money. We didn't want to be too forceful with them, seeing as how they're generous enough to send us a check for $50,000, but we still don't have anything from them.
Just want my residents to know that it is,
Craig, have you heard?
We are current on all paperwork. There was some paperwork, additional paperwork we had to submit the last time you brought this up. It's been submitted, and so the ball is firmly in their court. Thank you.
thank you. And I'm wondering on the next agenda if we could put, I know that I mentioned looking at the street name, Old Main Street and Blackwood, and I wonder if we can get that on the next agenda. I don't know if anyone else has given it any thought as to,
Yeah, well, actually, from a staff level, we gave it some thought. And
Did you?
we did have a discussion, yes, and I can't regurgitate everything we talked about, but it does bring up some issues of historical names and the old plats where there were some right-of-ways that historically have been certain names for a long time. So we can put that all into an item. You probably all have to study it before we get here 2 weeks from now
I have no
to
problem.
have a
I mean,
good grasp
it's not a
on
problem
it.
with the Old Main Street, it's just kind of getting a defining line, so that
Yeah.
we know, is it where, is it
I-
where Montgomery Road starts that we continue, or Blackwood ends?
I think it's
I mean,
easy to
I think
recommend
it's a-
something that would make sense, but then, you're kind of losing some of the historical
And we don't
street
want
names
to.
too. Right,
But it's just,
and we
again,
understand that.
it's just the situation where Orlando Avenue and White Road, I don't think anyone knows where that line is, somebody does,
We
but.
don't, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Exactly.
it's one of those situations, and I think if we just have a defined line, and we know, are we gonna start it at Montgomery to be Old
Okay.
Main Street and move on? Or, it's kinda hard to start in the middle of the street.
I think you started at
We'll have a sign up.
right there where the dirt part starts. That's where it was always.
Was
You
that
used to
where
go all the way-
Montgomery?
You used to go all the way out to Highway 50.
Yeah, I did, but the thing is, I don't think you can change Blackwood now because you've got businesses on Blackwood. But it's the idea, is it at Montgomery that the line where, that's basically where the dirt, within
Yeah.
feet of where the dirt is, but it's just the idea of, let's have it set and not have.
We will
to,
put it together for you for the next agenda.
Okay, just, no, I don't know, I don't think anyone mentioned the handgun safety class. That's gonna be taking place the last Saturday of every month. Register with the police department, no charge. Coming up. Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Grogan.
Rob, while we're in discussions on streets, Fuller's Cross, has Commissioner Nelson reached out to us yet?
No, it was something he brought up quite a bit until the last month or so. I don't know.
Yeah, I think maybe his mind might be otherwhere, so we might want to grab him.
Yeah.
Maybe we can reach out to him now and see if we can't keep that going and get something done. Also, I'd like to discuss our start time for the commission meetings. We have the authority here to change it if we'd like. I think we'd like to discuss it. I think 6:30 would be a better start. Try to get a half an hour earlier, or 40 minutes, whatever. 45 minutes. Any discussion on that?
Commissioners.
6:30 works for me.
Works for me. I still have enough time to get from the day job to here, so I don't have a problem with that.
Now, is that something that's gotta be addressed in the charter?
Well,
It's
no.
it's a
The
code
charter
issue.
says that we have to do it.
Yeah, it's a code issue, and it would have 2 readings. It would be an ordinance change, so it would be 2 readings. First reading could be on
So
the next
he needs to
agenda.
make a motion to do it?
Or do we put it on to a
You
first
could,
reading?
you could go by consensus to have us bring that forward to you, and the first reading would be at the next meeting.
All right. Everybody consensus okay with that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, we'll bring that one forward.
And that's all I have, Mayor.
Couple things. Chief, is there not a police picnic park thing on May the 6th? You have that date? Is that what it is?
Yeah, our community picnic is
Right.
May 6th.
Right,
Yep,
okay,
so 3 weeks from now.
okay. That's what I wanted to find out, I just wanted to make
We
sure.
start at, I believe, 10 a.m., 10 to 2. So it's a picnic, so we have food, games, interaction with police for small kids and adults, so everybody can come out.
And there's another meeting before then,
Tiger
too.
Minor, right?
Yeah, I know, I just wanted to make sure we announced it.
Chief? Is that Tiger Minor?
No, this year,
Across from Vignetti, isn't it?
I don't know which park that we're having it. We wanted to have it here, but we had some issues with it, so we moved.
Deputy Chief,
It's in
It is Tiger Minor, thank you.
Tiger Minor. Okay, all right. Public Works Director, Steve, I got a call today, and I know I've got a couple so far. I know when we have work going on the roads, people get a little testy after a month. So I got somebody called me today and gave me about a 30-minute chewing about the road in front of Security and Mobile. The main problem is, and I know I go by there a lot, so all I can say is please have them fill in and keep the water on that dirt, because it's going to get a lot drier. So it's real dusty in there and real, and I've explained to her that it was be a sewer line going in, and I will tell you the comment she made to me. She said, we're going to have to smell crap all the time, so, so I thought it was kind of cute to go along with the sewer line comment, but she
We'll take-
she
we'll
was
take care of
not
that.
real happy. But I tried to explain to her that we're in the process, we got to do it, so if they will try to make sure those cuts are always asphalt in, and also at least water down the road or something, tell the construction people.
We can do that. We'll make sure it happens. We're also in the process of
I know
redoing
we're
the
here
corner.
to improve and put the sewer lines in, but we're also, as much as we can, we need to try to help the citizens. They have to live in there and go through that every day.
I agree.
All right. All right. Any more comments? No more comments? Meeting adjourned.
Hey, Mayor, some,